But that power was in a measure compared to the day of Pentecost when the Holy Ghost came. What was it? It was an exposure to cast out demons, to heal the sick, to preach to this person, to preach to that person. In Acts chapter 6, we saw those 7 foot prefects. One of them was Philip in chapter 6. By chapter 8, he had gone to Samaria. Do you remember? And by chapter 21, the Bible referred to him as the evangelist. So exposure in discipleship is very important. But the issue is that you need to check your heart as a disciple. Am I faithful in these exposures, or am I a truant? Am I careless? Am I taking things for granted? Or am I actually learning from them? And one thing about discipleship is that we need to ask questions. So why is this? Why is that? Those disciples asked Jesus Christ, why couldn't we do what? Cast out this particular demon. And Jesus did what? He answered them. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, we saw Paul sending who? Sending Timothy on errand to the church of Christ at Thessalonica. We also saw again, all these are part of what? Exposure. And you know, we were told yesterday, when you are asked to go and untie the ass, don't what? Don't ride on it. You're only told to go and untie it. So when we are being exposed, we need to be what? Faithful. Faithful. When you are sent to go and preach, you must trust God to follow the principles that your master is following when he carries you. And you also should do what? Should do that warning for us. Don't use the gift of God in your life for what? For personal aggrandizement or for merchandise. I saw online. You know, there are certain terrible things that is happening in the church of God today. They wrote deliverance and it was a receipt, 5,000. They are giving receipt for doing deliverance. So your salvation, which receipt did they give you? Please, brethren, we need to be very careful at this point. If indeed you follow God in discipleship very well, God will break forth upon you. But when he breaks forth, there is a warning. Don't make merchandise of the gift of God. Don't make merchandise of the glory of God breaking forth upon your life. Don't try to monopolize the grace of God upon your life. He said it is not for selfish purpose. Let's look at 1 Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians 12. I would like to read that before we look at those assessments, and then we shall be praying. Because this one is a very important aspect. It says, but the manifestation of the Spirit is given to man to do what? To profit with is given to you in order to what? To make profit. And for the brethren to become what? Edified. So let's take note. No equipping, no exposure is meant for what? Personal and selfish purpose. I want to ask you this afternoon.